This is Backstage Bay Area. Now, here's your host, Steve Roby.
Hey everyone, welcome to Backstage Bay Area. I'm Steve Roby, your host. My guest today is a founding member of a group that Time Out New York called among the greatest bands on the planet. Trumpeter and keyboardist Frank London is a key force behind that band, the Klezmatics. For 4 decades, they've been the only klezmer band to win a Grammy Award, blending traditional Yiddish roots with the energy of punk, jazz, and gospel. They have collaborated with legends like Itzhak Perlman and Allen Ginsberg, and they're celebrating their 40th anniversary with a special tour and album reissue. The Klezmatics are bringing that celebration and their Happier, Joyous Hanukkah show to SF Jazz's Minor Auditorium on Monday, December 15th. Frank London joins us now. Hey, Frank, welcome to Backstage Bay Area.
Hi, Steve. So glad to be talking with you and really looking forward to the San Francisco show.
All right, me too. Where am I reaching you today?
I'm in my apartment in New York City. We're about to hit the road on Tuesday. The tour starts in the Midwest and takes us all the way to the West Coast, up and down, and San Francisco's towards the end.
All right. Well, let's give our listeners a little history on the Klezmatics. The Klezmatics emerged from New York's East Village scene in 1986, and that was such a specific time and place for music. You had the avant-garde scene, the punk scene, and then you guys essentially launching a global klezmer revival. When you look back at those days, what was the spark in the East Village that made it the right place to mix centuries-old tradition with such a radical contemporary attitude?
I think there are 2 things that came together, and exactly as you speak about in that time and place. It reminds me of the old Timothy Leary talking about set and setting, with the factors. On one hand, you had an accumulation of musicians and venues and clubs, and everyone was doing what you're talking about, but it wasn't about genre. You had salsa musicians and jazz musicians and rock musicians, and everyone who was exploring history and moving forward, and everyone lived here and everyone was working here. You had countless venues from CBGB's to La Mama. You had all this stuff, and it was just so vital, and there was a fluidity. We all worked together. So maybe, you mentioned that we worked with Allen Ginsberg, but maybe we didn't work with Sonic Youth, but we're crossing paths with them and Patti Smith. I mean, it's all the same. It's all the milieu. And the second thing is that the Lower East Side, where the East Village and the Lower East Side are sort of contiguous neighborhoods here in New York, is the old Jewish neighborhood. And you had all these synagogues and old remnants of a time and a place and a history. All the old Yiddish theaters are still in this neighborhood. They're not Yiddish theaters anymore. So there was a sense of rootedness in the place itself, and yet a sense that we wanted to celebrate that rootedness, but continue moving things forward.
Wow. What a time to be alive, huh? That was great. So we're celebrating the holiday season with your project, Happy Joyous Hanukkah, which is being reissued on vinyl this month. Thank you for doing that. This project has such an incredible backstory involving the Woody Guthrie estate. Most people know Guthrie for This Land Is Your Land, but some don't know about his connection to the Brooklyn Jewish community in the 1940s. Can you tell us the story how Woody's daughter, Nora, discovered these lost Hanukkah lyrics and how the Klezmatics were chosen to bring them to life?
I'll do my best. I don't know how she specifically found these lyrics, but I can give the general setting, which is that Woody Guthrie he just worked nonstop. I think of him, he's like the John Kerouac of songwriters. He just wrote all the time. And shockingly, for someone as famous as he is, he did not record very much. So when Nora was going through boxes that had been stored, I don't know, that part of the story, I don't know where they were, but going through it and creating what is now the Woody Guthrie archives, she just found so many song lyrics that Woody must have performed, but we don't know what melodies he performed them to because they were never recorded. So at that point, she kind of made it part of her mission to find like-minded artists to take Woody's words and make new melodies. And that's how Wilco ended up doing their album, Mermaid's Avenue. The Dropkick Murphys did, the song about the Merchant Marines. And she met us. It's a very funny story. She met us when we were playing at Tanglewood with Itzhak Perlman. And she asked us if we were interested in working on these lyrics of Woody's. And we're like, yeah, what do you think? We're crazy? Of course we are. This is the greatest thing in the world. And it started out with a series of Hanukkah songs. And it turned out, I kind of figured this out. I did my own little sleuthing. Woody would write dates on these pieces of paper. And all the Hanukkah songs were clustered around one particular week in December. I forget which year it was. And I figure he must have got his wife at that time, Nora's mother, Marjorie Mazias, was Jewish, and they were poor and they were living hand to mouth. And he got some gigs, we know this from archives, performing at Jewish community centers and old age homes in the area. And he must have said, oh, I'll just write some Hanukkah songs. So he wrote us a handful of Hanukkah songs. So we wrote the melodies and recorded them and made the album Happy Joyous Hanukkah. But then through that, we got to explore the archives and found a bigger treasure trove of music about Jewish themes, about New York themes, about Coney Island. And that's how we made the album Wonder Wheel, which is the one that we won a Grammy for. It's really been a fruitful relationship. And at the risk of going on a little too long, it continues right now because we are just, as you said, we're reissuing Happy Joyous Hanukkah on vinyl, but we're about to release our next album, which is called We Were Made for These Times, which we can talk about more if you want to. And we'll be performing some of that music at SF Jazz. But it's all topical material, all very, very much of the moment. And one of the songs is a song that Woody Guthrie wrote. So we're still doing Woody Guthrie stuff. This is one where the melody is known. It's his song Deportees. And it's obviously just as poignant now as it was when he wrote it 60 years ago. And we do a trilingual version of Deportees in English, Yiddish, and Spanish on the new album.
Fascinating. What a great story. Yeah, let's dive into that a little bit more in the interview. I want to hear some more about that. But right now, I'd like to play a track from the EP that really captures that collaboration. The song is called Spin, Dreidel, Spin. How did you approach the arrangement for this song, and how did you make it sound distinctly like the Klezmatics?
That's funny that of all the songs, you picked that one, and funny in the sense that it's one of the ones that doesn't have any of Woody's words to it. So what happened was we made an EP of the 8 Hanukkah songs, one for each night of Hanukkah. But then when it was time to release it after that kind, we made a homemade CD that we made ourselves, and the actual packaging folded into a dreidel. It's really cute. It's like a collector's item.
I love it.
But when a record company said they wanted to issue it, we needed more material because there was only 8 songs. So each of us wrote a new instrumental song. And Lisa, I wrote a funny one called The Latka Flip Flip.
Yeah, we're going to play that later.
But Lisa Gutkin, our violinist, wrote Spin, Dreidel, Spin. So in terms of how she arranged it, well, it's her song, but it's, the Klezmatics being the Klezmatics.
Yeah.
And it's fun. It's interesting. It's still stayed in our repertoire to this day. We love playing it. And yeah.
All right.
Spin Dreidel Spin.
Okay, well, let's listen to it now. This is Spin Dreidel Spin, and we'll talk more with Frank London on the other side of this. This is Backstage Bay Area. You're listening to Backstage Bay Area. I'm Steve Roby, and my guest today is Frank London from the Klezmatics. We just heard Spin Dreidel Spin. It's from their recording Happy Joyous Hanukkah, which is available now. Frank, this tour you spoke about kicks off your 40th anniversary celebration. 40 years is a lifetime for a band, any band. You've kept that core lineup together for decades, and a new album that you mentioned, We're Made for These Times, is coming next year. How does the music you're writing today compare to what you were doing 40 years ago? Do you feel the band's mission has changed at all?
I don't think it's changed. We've been sort of a political, social, as well as being a dedicated Yiddish music band, a dedicated Yiddish music group that is always willing and looks happily towards interacting with musicians from other musical cultures. That's who we are. But we've always had a political, social message to what we do, and we've made that a big part of our identity. I think this new recording differs in that it's totally focused on that. This is not just one aspect of the recording. Almost all, I would say all the songs are really about, well, the title song, We Were Made for These Times, is a neo-gospel song written by Angela Gabrielle from the Poor People's Campaign. And it's really inspirational. Don't lose hope. Don't lose heart. Lift up your voice. We were made for these times. And I think that it's important right now. We, collectively, the band feels like it's important to provide inspiration through song and through words to people who are working right now to really fight for freedom and justice and all the things that makes America such a wonderful place, and to really have the strength and not get depressed, because it's easy in these difficult times to read the news and feel overwhelmed and helpless. And we reject that. We're going to make music, and the album is in 3 languages, English, Yiddish, and Spanish. And we have an amazing range of guest artists, gospel singers, Colombian drummers, the Janice Siegel from the Manhattan Transfer. William Parker, one of the most famous free jazz improvisers.
Oh my God.
It's an amazing range of artists, and everyone comes together to really present this very, very positive musical message.
Wow. When can we look forward to that?
I've been told, I'm not the business person, I've been told that we're going to release a single as early as January, so we're about a month from now.
Yeah.
And then that depending on the record label and all that stuff, the entire record or whatever they call it these days will be released, let's say around April, May.
Yeah. So it'll be 3 different versions in 3 different languages. Is that right?
No. Each song is in 1 to 3 languages.
Gotcha.
We do a lot of translation and singing in multiple languages, sometimes at the same time, sometimes translations, sometimes different texts that talk to each other. That would be interesting also, Steve, to actually record the same song in different languages.
I was hoping for a limited edition kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, we could do that, but we've chosen to actually really let the languages, just like the musical languages, talk to each other.
Yeah.
There's gospel music on here. There's jazz. There's a lot of klezmer and Yiddish music. We work with an electric guitar player from Crimea, who's a Tatar. That's an ethno-religious group in Crimea in the Ukraine. It's been occupied by Russia for the last 12 years. And he's someone who has been studying their music and, again, doing the same thing, playing it traditionally and in an avant-garde way. And because of history, there's a serious overlap between traditional Tatar music and traditional Yiddish klezmer music. So he was on tour. We said, great, we'll bring you in the studio. It's a dialogue between cultures and languages and musics, but all with this one intention.
Wow.
And we're very happy about it.
I imagine you are. What a fascinating project. I got to hopefully get you back on the show to talk about it when the record comes out.
Gladly.
All right.
Gladly.
Well, let's switch gears here and get back to some music. I want to get to another track that's a fun one. It's called Do the Latke Flip Flip. The Klezmatics have always had the ability to balance deep spiritual themes with pure danceable joy. When you play a high-energy track like this live, what's the reaction you're seeing from the audience these days?
I would say that the reaction often depends on the venue itself. So if the venue is suitable for people jumping up out of their seats and dancing in the aisles or in the club, we do get a lot of dancing. Otherwise, a lot of, with the high energy stuff, people tend to clap along. We've also always been a very big on getting, first of all, we have a wonderful singer, Lawrence Glamberg, one of the greatest singers in Yiddish music, but he's generous enough to let us all as a band sing. We do a lot of band vocals, and then we encourage audience singing with us. So, we just love, I think communication is what's so important for the Klezmatics, and getting that ecstatic high energy thing, having people sing and dance and move, or when it's a focused, somber moment, people really listen deeply.
All right. Well, I invite our listeners to sing and dance along to this next song. It's called Let's Do the Latke Flip Flip. We'll be back in a moment to ask Frank Lennon about the Klezmatics' upcoming show at SF Jazz. You're listening to Backstage Bay Area.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
That was Do the Latte Flip Flip, and you're tuned to Backstage Bay Area. I'm talking with my guest, Frank London. Frank, you're bringing the Happier, Joyous Hanukkah show to SF Jazz on Monday, December 15th, which if my calendar is correct, that's the first day of Hanukkah.
Yes, I'm agreeing with everything.
All right. You'll be at the Minor Auditorium with the full band. For fans, you're promising some freshly recorded renditions and maybe even some previews of the new album we just talked about.
Absolutely.
How are you structuring the set list for this 40th anniversary party at SF Jazz?
I'm not sure exactly how we're going to structure the set list per se, but I know what's going to be on it. We decided on this tour. Oh, okay. Again, two answers to one question.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Steve. I'm a Gemini, so I always have two answers for one
problem.
question. We're going to divide sort of our repertoire between Hanukkah songs, because it is Hanukkah and we want to celebrate that. And most of our Hanukkah songs are these Woody Guthrie Hanukkah songs. We want to present material from the new recording that people haven't heard and really get them excited about what we're up to now. And of course, we enjoy our old classic repertoire, and often audiences want to hear some of the older stuff. So I'd say more or less a third each, old, new, and Hanukkah. That's how the show is structured.
Lots of storytelling, I'm sure.
And lots of story.
All right.
And lots of translating of the text. Oh, but the other part of the answer to that is we've played SF Jazz a few times, and for me, it's a very special venue. The sound is wonderful. The audiences are wonderful. The people are wonderful. But you have to know, one of the things that's really unique about the Klezmatics is that the six of us do not have one unified musical background. We really come from different places: folk music, classical music, jazz, rock. We come from, and that's why our sound as a band is kind of unique, because we come from different places. I would say that three of the six of us have a really strong jazz background. Myself, our sax player, Matt Dario, and our drummer, Richie Barshay. So what happens is that when we play SF Jazz, we kind of intentionally, whether we even look at each other and articulate it or we just know it, we really allow ourselves to really go high throttle into the jazz and improvised aspects of what our music allows.
Nice.
Because that's part of that, in respect of this amazing venue and all the work that SF Jazz has done. So we always go a little bit into overdrive in that. Our solos are longer. We include more pieces that have improvisation in it. So that's one of the great things about playing SF Jazz.
Right. I can't wait. My last question for you. So with the release of this EP, Happier, Joyous Hanukkah, given the state of the world, that choice to dial up the joy feels very intentional. What kind of energy are you hoping the audience walks away with after that final note rings out in my Minor Auditorium?
It's interesting because Woody Guthrie lived a very difficult life. If anyone, I don't want to go in the whole long story.
Yeah.
It's easily, one can do the research. For someone so famous and so prolific, his life was very tough. He lost many of his family and children and family in fires. He had a terrible disease that ultimately killed him, struggled with money problems. He had all this, and yet he is one of the most positive songwriters and philosophers I've ever encountered. And when he discovered the holiday of Hanukkah, which is called the Festival of Lights, through his wife, and they made it part of their family's ethos and observance, he decided, kind of from a naive outsider point of view, that what Hanukkah is all about is bringing light to the world and bringing happiness and putting aside your cares and your troubles. And the song lyrics all reflect this. Hanukkah time is a time to be happy, and it's no time to be sad, and it's time that we get together with family and friends and ones we love And so I would hope that the people get that message of positivity and happiness and warmth and light, and combined with our other repertoire, which is very much about making the world a better place, that people feel inspired to continue all the good work that people do towards that end.
All right. What a great message, Frank. Thank you. And
Thank you.
And a reminder for our listeners, the Klezmatics will be performing Happier Joyous Hanukkah on Monday, December 15th at 7:30 p.m. The show is at SF Jazz's Minor Auditorium in beautiful downtown San Francisco. You can find tickets and full details at sfjazz.org or use the direct link in our show notes. Frank, thank you so much. It was a pleasure to talk to you and get the backstories behind some of these songs and what's coming up ahead. I hope you'll come back on the show in April and we can talk some more about the new release.
Thanks. I'm looking forward to that, Stephen. I hope you have a great holiday.
Thank you. This has been Backstage Bay Area. I'm Steve Roby, and we'll see you at the show.
Thank you for tuning into the Backstage Bay Area podcast. Don't forget to visit us online at backstagebayarea.com for more insights and stories. Be sure to join us next time for more engaging conversations with local talent and touring musicians. Until then, keep the music alive, and we'll see you backstage.